Hello again, everybody. 3.3 would like us to be able to determine these things called genotype and phenotype ratios of offspring. So these are the babies, um, using something called a monohybrid cross and using something called a Punnett square. What language are we talking? So let's do this. So before we start this, let's talk first about chromosomes. So for review, you get a copy of a chromosome from your dad and a copy of a chromosome from your mom. So we all have that inside of us. And on these chromosomes are genes, and genes can come in different alleles. They can come in different forms. A very popular one that Mendel did, who was like the father of genetics, he was looking at pea color, now not PEE, but PEA, right? Pea color, the vegetable that you eat. So they can be yellow or they can be green. And he was looking at the inheritance of these different colors of peas. Yellow is actually a dominant trait, so we draw that, or we note that with a big Y. And green is recessive, and we note that with a G. No, we use the same letter, but just the lowercase or the smaller letter. So those are the forms of the gene. So when we write these on the chromosomes, we can write big Y or little y. Here we have an individual plant that has one of each allele. So maybe this plant had a yellow from its dad and a green from its mom, for example. So let's pretend that we want to know what happens when peas are crossed. These two plants are crossed, which means they reproduce. And what are the possibilities or chances of having certain offspring? So remember, this is meiosis. We're still talking meiosis, which is the production of sperm and egg. So there are only two choices of alleles that we could put in these sperm, right? Maybe the big Y ends up in this sperm, or the little y ends up in this. Now I know you're like, Mr. Fleming, meiosis is 4 gametes, not 2, but it's basically going to be the same ones again, right? Because we make a copy of this one and a copy of this one, but we don't need to do it twice. And we said that the egg had the same combination of alleles. So let's pretend the egg also had a big Y. It had a yellow form of the gene, but it also had the little y, which is the green form of the gene. And then we just see like, hey, what happens if they meet? So if this sperm happened to meet this egg, then the combination of alleles for that individual plant would be a big Y, big Y. And hello. And if the combination, if this gamete, if this sperm met this egg, we would have a big Y from the male and a little y from the female. Same here. This sperm meets this egg. We have a big Y from the egg, but a little y from the sperm. And if these two gametes meet, this sperm and this egg, we end up with 2 little y's. So if you remember, these little y's are called recessive. The big letters are called dominant. If there is a big letter at all, that trait will be expressed. So that means the yellow, which is dominant, will be expressed. How many yellow ones are here? 1, 2, 3, right? All 3 of these peas will be yellow. So the phenotype, how it looks, there'll be 3 yellow peas, and the chances of having a green one is only that one situation where you have 2 recessive alleles. So the ratio is 3 yellow to 1 green. And that's how we do these phenotypic ratios.